Okay, gang, I haven't shown you this car before. This is my 55 Chevy that I had traded a 69 Nova for that needed a lot of work, but this car also needed a lot of work. When I got it, it was basically a shell on a chassis, pieces laying everywhere, just random parts. The floor pan was totally junk. The back of the car was rusted off as far as the back section by the bumper, and I pieced it together, put in a one-piece floor pan from the firewall back to just under the back seats, rebuilt the back pan section. But just kind of give you an overview, this is my rattle can. As you can see, I've got my brake lights are on, and I've got a skull and a back light and a back that that's my third brake light, you know, safety. I picked up this deck lid from an old man who had a show car, and he sold the show car, kept the deck lid for a while, and then I ended up picking it up and putting it on this. There's my tag, rattle can. And I say that because, one, it's painted mostly with rattle cans, and two, it sounds like a rattle can when you're driving it. Underneath, well, let me go all the way around first. Quarter panels, new bottom halves. The wheel well opening is actually 65 Mustang. As you can see, it flares out just slightly right here. And I had to stretch that an inch to get around these tires. So in the middle there's a section that wide that spreads it out just a little bit, but it radiused really, really well. So just wanted to show you that. I'll go up here and just look at the inside. There's a new floor pan, as you can see. Doors fit okay. I put new rockers in it, and the front end, I didn't do anything to it. No, the fenders have a bunch of patina, just the way they look. Found a rusty old grill to stick in it. I don't care. It's got a bar in the front like a drag car, and then this fender's beat up, rock solid, but just beat to death. And of course, I went with my highly official hand painted sign, and again, I don't care. People don't like it, they don't have to like it. Same on this side with the wheel well openings. And as you saw in the earlier clips, there's a Mustang 8.8 rear end underneath it, 383 limited slip, or 373 limited slip, new gas tank, traction bars. It's got a 4-speed in it. I think it's a Saginaw, nothing special. Flowmasters, and most of these parts and pieces I salvaged. Like the Flowmasters I bought from another guy's project. I had to open them up. They were only like, I don't know, 2 1/4 inch openings, and I cut the ends off and made them bigger. There's a fuel line up there, but there's also a power line that runs to the battery. It's in the trunk. The steering column is out of a 74 Chevy truck, and I shortened it up about 14 inches to make it fit. Wiring harness is American Auto Wire. I didn't want to mess around with that. Seats came with the car, and they were in this shape. I didn't do anything to them. As you can see, there's no door panels, no headliner, no package shelf liner. There's no radio, no heater core, no nothing. No kick panels. This is about as bare bones as you can get. There's also no glass in the back, and there's busted glass in the doors. It's got the old bubbled up vent windows. The engine was one I raced in my stock car. I raced it on a dirt track, and this thing will giddy up and go. I had to custom make, because it's got 461 double hump heads on it. I made my own brackets so I could mount the alternator. I wanted it on this side and on the other side. Typically with no mounts, it would end up on the driver's side, but I wanted it on the passenger side. Set of cheap headers, nothing special. Basically a stock fuel pump. I think I've got my Edelbrock carburetor on there. Yep, Edelbrock. I think that's my 750 HEI distributor. Tuned it a little bit. What else do I got? Aluminum radiator, electric fan. Here's my catch can for the radiator. That is actually a salvaged filter from a high dollar filter unit and I cut the end off, cleaned it all out, and had a buddy weld on the top plate and just put my hose in it. So it looks like something special, but it's really a throwaway filter. Does have horns, as it's required by law. All the lights work, turn signals, everything. I put on a power disc brake system with a dual diaphragm booster. I added power steering. Everything's working really well. Eventually I'm going to have to pull this engine out and replace the freeze plugs, because I had one bust on me and I put a rubber plug in it temporarily, but that was a while ago and it's still hanging on. So the wheels were bought from a buddy who had a '69 Camaro that I did, and so he sold me those reasonable. Got a set of Mickey Thompson anti-profile tires on the back, and everything clears underneath because the spring perches or spring mounts were moved inboard. They used to be on the outside of the frame, and now they're inside the frame, so as you can see. Otherwise, it's my fun car to drive. I will say this, the speedometer, the only thing that works in that, or a cluster, is the turn signals and the high beam indicator. The speedo doesn't work, the temperature gauge, all that doesn't work. I did add, these holes were already in the dash, so I used them. I had a tack left over from my stock car. And other than a few safety items that I have as far as securing the car, that's about it. So, fire this right up.